And hello out there, Caniac Nation. Thanks for joining us for session 66 of CaniacSessions. I know you can't see me right now for some reason, but I'm Griff.
I'm AB.
And I am Brandyn.
And yeah, we're just coming together tonight. It's Christmas next week, and we've got some good stuff planned personally over the holidays. But the team has a big week ahead over the holidays as well, fellas.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some of the storylines surrounding the team over the past week. We're going to talk about the week ahead, a couple of the players that we think need to be discussed. And, yeah, we'll take it from there. So how we doing, fellas?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah. What's tomorrow? Remind me.
We are going to go see our Carolina Hurricanes play the Washington Capitals in D.C.
That's right. That's right. AB, are you AB's not gone.
Bro, you really should.
I think AB froze. You with us, buddy?
He's on his way up here.
All right, so we'll wait for AB to come back, but yeah, I'm ready for tomorrow as well. I'm going to leave nice, bright and early in the morning, head up that way, and yeah, should be a good time. We're having all sorts of issues tonight with the technology here. For some reason, my camera just quit working. Not sure why, but here's AB.
There we go. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we're having all sorts of issues tonight.
Yeah,
I gotta figure out mine too. But anyway, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Sorry I couldn't make it to the last session. Made honors for school. Brandyn, I heard you say, thank God he's not in law school, and you're absolutely right. That's why my girlfriend is there, because she tolerates me and she's actually smart. So.
Well, somebody's offended.
Huh? No, not me.
Yeah, I'm very offended.
That's all right. You'll make it.
That's right.
I'm more offended you're not coming up here tomorrow, because now we have another ticket.
God, I got 2 Christmas parties back to back.
You know what you can have? No Christmas parties, and you can come up here. Jeremy will be there.
My 90-year-old grandmother would crucify me.
If she's 90, she can't be that threatening.
Stop!
Oh, burn.
I'm just saying, you go after Griff's dad all the time, so.
Well, he's in his 60s. He's okay.
How do you know how old he is? Have we talked about this? Maybe we talked
about
the math.
He ain't 90.
That's true. All right, let's get going here. Before we do, though, we are here at CaniacSessions, promotional partners with SeatGeek. Sign up with SeatGeek at www.seatgeek.com. And when you buy your first set of tickets, if you use promo code CaniacSessions, that's one word, no space between Caniac and Sessions, you can score $20 off your first ticket purchase. If you've already used it, make another account, use another email, use it again. It helps you, it helps us, and it helps SeatGeek. All right. So let's get going here. And first thing I want to talk about is we've been talking, over the weeks about the goaltending, here. And, Freddie goes out injured. Well, let me back up. We start the season with Freddie and Kochetkov. And, we knew that there'd probably be some times, throughout the season where somebody would be out due to injury. Freddie, we know, has missed time every season that he's played in Raleigh. And it's really just, a matter of when, not if. What we didn't know is that he would go out for an extended period of time again. And now we've got the same issue that we seem to have every single year for at least the last 3 or 4 years, right? Goaltending trouble. So Spencer Martin comes up, right? That, capable goaltender to back up Kochetkov. We expect Kochetkov to then carry the load. Well, then he goes out with a concussion for, a week. Now you're left with your AHL goaltender being your starter, and then you call up Yaniv Peretz, who is nowhere near ready to start an NHL game. And, they kind of carry the load, or Spencer Martin carries the load for a better part of a week. And we get Kochetkov back, and, it's just fact that he struggled, in this stretch of games since Anderson went out long term. Kochetkov has just struggled. He hasn't hit that ceiling that we know that he is capable of, and he's basically been good for 1 to 2 soft goals every single game. So because of all this, the organization finds a guy, that has some NHL experience, has, a career AHList, for the most part, played some for the Sabres, and you guys still with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tampa, Pittsburgh, Montreal, Anaheim.
Yeah, sorry, my computer's doing weird stuff. Anyway, so we bring this guy in to Chicago in for the Wolves, and he comes in and goes 4-1 in 5 games on a professional tryout, with his first 2 of those games being shutouts. So everybody kind of says, wow, like maybe this guy can help us out. So we sign him, and we bring him to Raleigh, and we send Spencer Martin back to Chicago in the AHL, and then Dustin Tokarski gets a game. He debuted at home against the Blue Jackets and looked great. Got the win, 4-1. And I mean, I thought he made really good saves. I thought he was calm in the net. The only thing that looked weird was his pads. Everything else, I thought he was great. So I'll open it up to you guys, and I'm going to bow out for a minute and try to fix my camera, but you guys can discuss Dustin Tokarski and his debut.
All right. I'll start it off. First of all, I don't really agree with what Griff said for saying that Kochetkov had this high ceiling and didn't perform that well. Yes, he had a concussion. Head injuries are very difficult for any player to come back from, but Tokarski did a very good job. There were some saves that he made where he was very deep in his own net and didn't really go in the top of the crease. And there were some where it hit and then it went high up. I think he was afraid to use that glove and go down into the butterfly in some cases. But I think once he got past that first period, he did a very good job. Mm-hmm. He started to go out up towards the crease and started to do the vertical horizontal on the post, which for anybody that doesn't know, their left or their right pad is up and the other pad is down. He did a good job of that. Didn't lose his stick, which is nice, but just to have a guy that reminds me of Curtis McElhinney, who's a solid veteran, hasn't really had a big impact on teams. He's bounced around in the AHL, NHL. He got comfortable, and I think with his exposure, with a good defense and the way he was handling himself in positioning and blocker saves and glove saves and his skating ability and able to pivot quickly, that's what stood out for me. What do you think, Brandon?
Like I said, you know a lot more about goalies than I do. You notice things that I normally don't. As far as the Tokarski signing goes, it was nothing but reward for that because it added another depth piece to the goaltending. And we don't know what's going to happen with Freddie when he does come back. How long is he going to be in the lineup before something happens again? So the good thing about that is when he does come back, your goaltending depth then becomes Frederik Andersen and Pyotr Kochetkov, whatever order you want to put those two in. You have a upgrade at number 3 that you didn't have before with Dustin Tokarski, and you still have Spencer Martin at number 4. Like I've always said, the biggest thing I think that separates a starting goalie from a backup goalie, or what order you put your goalies in, is how often can they start and how often can they win. That's the biggest thing. Now, as far as potentially going to the market to get a goalie, there's one really, really big problem with that. And I'm not advocating for this, but I'm also not against it either. If you do that, you are committing to moving on from Freddie mid-season. He has to be included in that deal, or you have to put him on waivers and hope somebody picks him up. Because I think that someone would pick him up. I really do. But then you lose him for nothing. Not that big of a deal, though, if you do go get another goalie, but you do have to spend assets to do that. I know that Vejmelka has been talked about. I think that that would be a good one. I think that you would also have a long-term fit there. Kochetkov, I personally do see as a high-end tandem guy, maybe a legitimate starter. He's like right on. He's at that point where we're starting to know for sure. That's one of the things that sucks about goalies. It is so hard to project how they're going to turn out. It is incredibly difficult. There we go. Now it's working. So that's where we're just kind of at in terms of that. But if we do go get another goalie, we are committing to moving on from Freddie. And that really sucks to do it in the middle of the season, considering we know how good he can play when he's healthy. But I that's a very unenvious position to be in. I wouldn't want to be the person making that decision. I wouldn't want to be any of the parties involved. But, you know, we didn't think that this year is a win the cup year, and I still don't either. But if you get to the playoffs, you might as well try. If you have a team that is exceeding expectations, you might as well try. Extend that window early, you know, open it up a season early. So if we continue to play well, if we continue to stay out of the slump we were in for a little bit, if we win, say, 4 or 5 of the next 6 games, after New Year's, you got to start thinking about that. One of the big bellwether things about that, if we go and we beat Florida, then we were like, okay, this team's, you know, going to exceed expectations maybe a little bit more than we initially thought. And we also need to go get a goalie for future reasons anyway. The schedule this year is really rough because of the Four Nations tournament. It will be the same situation next year because of the Olympics. It's going to be a lot more condensed, a lot more back-to-backs than normal, just like this season has been. I think we need another goalie. I just hate it for Freddie.
I will say this, and I'll pass it off to you, Griff. I put in to our group chat, I really like John Gibson. But yes, he has a couple of injuries, but when he's healthy, he's very good. But you also have to think about how many shots he's stopping for Anaheim that has a very bad defense, and that he is going into butterfly and he's shifting from left to right. He's going VH position. He's going to the top of the crease. He's using his glove hand and his blocker and his stick more than anybody that I've seen in the past 5 years. So if he has a good defense around him, and we've seen what Gibson has done when he's healthy and had a good defense around him, he can easily win 30 games. So that would also be a good option. Vejmelka be a good option, but, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to having Gibson. Griff?
I think when I was bowing out to go and fix my camera, I heard you say you disagreed with me about something, but I didn't hear what.
Kochetkov.
What about
him hitting his ceiling, I think. And
You think he
Brandyn
has?
said, no. I'm saying that this is a make or break kind of year. And Brandyn said that, but I don't think he's hit his ceiling quite
I said
yet.
he hadn't either. I said we haven't seen it.
Oh, I thought you did. My bad.
No, I said he's not playing like, you know, we know he can. I mean, we've seen him. I mean, last year he carried this team for, you know, remember that Ottawa game where he poke checks Brady Tkachuk, you know, from that moment, you know, through when correcting the course for that team, he carried this team and was excellent. And that's what I'm saying. We haven't seen that. I think he has, he's been like I said, he's been good for 1 to 2 soft goals every game. The difference between now and the start of the season is the start of the season, we were scoring goals in the masses, and any mistakes that were, is covering up basically all of our mistakes, including in net. And then, when the scoring dries up a little bit here, as of late, those mistakes have kind of showed their face. And, but anyway, on Tokarski, I thought he was, I thought he was great against Columbus. Now, I don't know, can he do that? Can he continue that? Maybe, I don't know. But I don't think that we need to go get a John Gibson would be fine. It's just the price tag. And if you're going to get Anaheim to eat some salary, you're going to have to give up a substantial, return. It's going to have to be something that you're not going to get away with future considerations and get Anaheim to keep. Freddie would have to go the other way. One.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
But you think Anaheim wants to take Freddie off our hands and retain
they
salary?
would rather have cheaper salary because Gibson has $1 million more.
Yeah, but Freddie's got $3.4 million contract. Gibson's a 6.5. So if you ask Anaheim to retain and they take Freddie back, it doesn't help their cap situation at all.
They're going to want a prospect or something thrown in there since they're in transition.
I think
and
their
everything.
cap space is huge.
Or they'll want a roster player. They just got Trouba. Maybe they're looking up front. Maybe they're looking at their forward group. I don't know. But, they could ask for maybe maybe a Jack Drury or, somebody that can play in your bottom six. I don't know.
See, if we did theoretically move Drury, though, and I'm not advocating for that, I'm just saying if we did, we've got plenty of options there as far as someone else we can put there. Tyson, I know we're going to talk about him more later, but Tyson Jost has been very impressive when he's been in the lineup, especially the last game. I was very impressed with him last game, not just because he scored.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to talk about here in a little bit was like, if he belongs up here and you want to create room for him and you need to make a trade for a goaltender or something, then you have more options to do that. So anyway, good start or anyway, good game for Tokarski. Like that was good to see. And if he can keep it up until February, then or the end of February or whenever Freddie comes back, I guess it would be the end of February.
It'll probably be pushed back on him.
Well, I think that's the tail end of the 12 weeks would be after the Four Nations. So, if Tokarski can give us a good solid effort, 1 every 5 games, we might be okay. And Kochetkov is going to have to play like he played against
November
the Islanders
last year,
and like he played Friday night against the Islanders, or
At
whatever,
a minimum,
or not Friday night, Tuesday night.
At a minimum, the goalie thing is going to have to be addressed to some degree or another in the offseason. We cannot do this again next year.
Absolutely.
it will.
I don't believe Freddie will be back. Of course, I said that last year. Of course, last year he wasn't on. He was still under contract, but but he would have to have a new contract to come back this year, and I just don't see it. So
Absolutely not.
But it'll be interesting to see, who they find, who they bring in to kind of be a tandem with Kochetkov, or maybe they'll bring in, I don't know who's out there. They'd probably have to get him somebody on a trade.
Yeah.
So, and
Saros will probably want out.
I don't know. He just signed.
They just signed him. That's no.
Saros ain't going anywhere.
No.
I think Vejmelka is more of a realistic. I think I'd put a $5 bet on that we could see Vejmelka being one of our goaltenders next season. Whether they get him now or they wait until the off season and trade, I could see that. But all right, moving on here. talking about something I want to talk about, real quick, and we'll hit this. And this is something I was thinking about during the Islanders game. Martin Necas. Are we seeing him regress? Now, when I say are we seeing him regress, it's very, very hard to maintain the pace that he's the pace he started with, first of all. So like even a little bit of a regression is still outstanding. But I'm worried that we may be witnessing a steep fall off. And I'm going to say why. I'm going to tell you why. I've noticed, and I think he's hurt. I think he's playing through an injury right now, and I think it happened against Florida. I've noticed since he got hit, since Tkachuk, remember when Tkachuk was messing with him, both of those games? Ever since that happened, it's like he's afraid of contact, even more so than Martin Necas usually is afraid of contact. Like, he is going out of his way to ensure that he does not get hit. He won't go into the boards to, like, I noticed against the Islanders, he went in chasing a puck. One of the Islanders defenders got to it, and he just stopped. He didn't even go in and try to take the puck away or hit the guy or, check the guy or whatever. He just stopped and skated the other way. And it was like he tensed up, and I felt like he didn't want to take contact. And I don't know if it's an injury. I don't know what it is, but and I've seen other people say this too. I feel like since the Florida game, he's a different player. And the stats back that up. His scoring has fallen off, and I've got it right here. Since the Florida game, oops, I hit the wrong button. I don't want the playoffs. Since the Florida games, he has 7 points, which is good. 2 against Seattle, 2 against Colorado, 1 against the Islanders, 1 against San Jose, and then 1 against Columbus. So, that's what? That's 8 games. So I guess 7 points in 8 games, which is good. Excuse me. But look at the last 5 games, 3 points. And they're all assists. And I just feel like he's making mistakes. He's having trouble with puck management. He's turning the puck over again. He's avoiding contact. He's just not as dangerous on the ice night in and night out as he has been. And again, this is all relative, right? He's not, he's still one of the best players on this team. But I'm just worried that we are seeing some regression and that it could end up snowballing into a bigger issue. And then what? So open to your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Am I wrong? Am I losing? Should I not trust my eyes here, or what's going on?
Brandyn, you want to take it?
Yeah. I'm not worried about him regressing. I was expecting a stretch like this to occur for him at some point or another around this time. I'm surprised he played as well as he did through that stretch where the entire team was having it rough and we had that really hard part of our schedule. I don't think he's actually physically hurt. The reason I say that is because someone like Martin Necas, he stands out with his skating ability. He always has. Even when he was a rookie, there were times where he was the best person on the ice in terms of edge work, speed, acceleration, all that type of stuff. He looks fine to me in the regards of his skating. When someone like Martin Necas is hurt, the first thing you notice, his skating is off. That doesn't look that way to me at the moment. I think that Tkachuk running him over like he did multiple times in 2 days got in his head a little bit. I think that he will be fine. I think he'll overcome this. But I think it's mental, if I had to guess, because we've seen stuff like this before. And the last time he was having problems like this, it was all in his head. So, it's like he gets away from having the disconnect he has between his brain, his hands, and his feet. and he fixes that, and then little things can kind of throw him off his game. And this happens to every player to some degree or another. But I think that he will work through this, whatever it is. He had a couple of days off, so if it is something physical, it's a couple of days he can nurse it. If it's something mental, it's a couple of days he can nurse it. I really think he's going to be fine, but it is a valid concern because we're seeing the old Martin Necas, the Martin Necas that a lot of people were saying maybe we should consider trading him. We have seen that Martin Necas the last 3 games. I don't personally see it becoming a trend or an issue, though.
Yeah, AB.
I'll say this. I mean, he has not been on the score sheet in only 7 games, and we've played 31. And he has 5 game-winning goals and 19 points on the power play. That's second in the NHL, and he's tied for 4th in points. I don't see an injury whatsoever because, like Brandyn said, his skating ability is still there. He can go on the power play and even on 5-on-5, and he's quick. He's got that one-timer that clearly he's been working on that left face-off dot. When he's on the power play, I think that with a guy that has 44 points already, you have off nights. And that's okay. But I'm not worried about him at all. He has been phenomenal. And his best season, I think, was 72 points, and he's 30 points away from that. And it doesn't matter more so about points, but, he's producing. He's been reliable. And in my opinion, yes, I see with Carolina, they heavy forecheck. But I think with a guy like Necas, he's not very physical, in my opinion. And I think that's something that he needs to work on a little bit. But I also think that he needs to not be as physical as the team as a whole, because he knows his role. He can score, he can pass, he can skate. And I think that's a really big thing for Necas, is he knows his role. He knows that he can shoot. That's just for me because, if you have a lot of people going 100 and everybody goes 110% for the Hurricanes, but if you have that golden goose, just try to protect him a little bit. And I just think that he needs to go into.
I just think that he shouldn't. I feel like he's intentionally avoiding contact. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, I feel like he is. Like, this isn't Martin Necas. Like I feel like there's something wrong. That's just me.
Like, you mean with the hands or legs, or because his shot's fine?
I don't know. I've seen him intentionally. Like,
he'll be out for a while.
Like, you need to go in and get the puck, dude. Like, don't skate away from this dude. Go in there and get the flipping puck in the ozone. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things that he's the most valuable for is the offensive zone possession that he generates. So if he doesn't go get the puck, you're removing a lot of what makes Martin Necas a good player. One of the things that I've been bragging about lately about him is how much better I thought he's played defensively and how much better he's done with his puck management and everything. He's threading the needle in situations he wasn't doing that before. You cannot work in tight in situations like that and avoid contact 100% of the time. Connor McDavid can't do that. Right. So Martin Necas isn't going to.
I'm not saying go in and play like.
I thought that's what you meant of like heavy forecheck, like hit everything.
I'm just saying, like, don't go get the puck, dude. You can put your you can be physical without wrecking yourself.
Jarvis does that,
right? You don't have to fight. You don't have to just go in and throw the body around or whatever. But like forecheck, dude. I mean, this guy, he literally look. This is let me set this scene up for you. And I saw this. This was against the Islanders. I don't remember who it was, but they had the puck behind the net.
Adam Pelech. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was Pelech. Martin Necas comes in from the left. If you're looking at the net, he comes in from the left. Pelech has the puck and has no idea that Necas is coming because he's looking the other way. And then Necas stops and just turns around and like skates up in front of the net. And Pelech clears the puck out. And then it goes the other way. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, put a body on him, put a stick in there, something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that's why I was like, is this dude hurt? Like, what is going on?
Normal Martin Nate. Go ahead, AB.
I will say this. I hated that a lot of our players didn't do it. I felt KK was like that in the beginning. But now, when you're describing that play with Pelech, KK will finish that check. And, I thought Necas and him were a little bit scared when they were first starting out. Necas clearly is, but KK has adapted to that situation, in my opinion.
Yeah,
well, when KK's physical, he's playing confidently. So, but yeah, like the thing is, it's like Necas doesn't have to go in there and absolutely try to destroy Adam Pelech because he's not going to. That's not going to happen. Adam Pelech is incredibly stable on his feet. He's a big guy and he's known for his physicality.
One of the top 5 defensive defensemen in the NHL.
Absolutely. If he was on a better team, people would notice how good he actually is. But that's one of those situations where Necas should have went in there, made some contact, and tried to go for a stick lift or something. But I know what you're talking about, where he just kind of gave up on it and then skated into to like right above the crease. And even for someone who's not as physical as Necas, that's not normal. Because I remember seeing that sequence and I'm like,
yeah. I was like, what are you doing, bro?
If it was Brandyn, it'd be a deck.
Like, go get the puck, man.
I am not going to hit Adam Pelech.
Yeah, I ain't scared. Anyway, so yeah, that's why I saw that. That's the play that started this whole thought process for me, because like I convinced myself, oh, he's hurt, oh, he's regressing, oh, he's and then I started looking at stats, and I know plus minus is not really especially for that line that he plays on, but I was just like, man, like something's going on, and I hope this is not the start of something that becomes a trend. So. But moving on here, talking about somebody who is having the opposite effect right now, who is heating up. Sebastian Aho. Currently 9 goals, 24 assists, 33 points in 31 games. So the scoring's there, but it's mainly assists. We're used to him having more goals at this point. And really we're used to having him having more 5-on-5 goals at this point. But just something that's cool here is a little stat that AB looked up here. When the Canes win, all right, Aho has, if you look at the course of the season so far, 8 goals, 16 assists for 24 points in a Canes win. When the Canes lose, he only has 1 goal, 10 assists for 11 points. With a plus minus of -12. So that shows you right there, when Aho's good, the team is good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's our best player. Yes, Necas has been, the best producer so far this season, but Aho is the best player on this team. It's not close. And we need him to be that, right? And I feel like, he had a really slow start. I don't know why. Maybe it's something, Teravainen's gone, Gensel's gone, who he played with, plus the lines were a mess, and they, constantly changing. Yeah, constantly changing. And so maybe a lot of that, had something to do with it. But he seems to be finding his groove. Your guys' thoughts on Sebastian Aho?
I'll say that looking up the stats, obviously you want Aho to be 15 goals already, but like you said, didn't have his line mate and everything like that. But when I pulled up the win stats, I mean, he's there. And he had a slow start to the season, yes, but to see that plus minus, which is not a very good stat, but still a minus 12 is pretty bad. And to not have that impact when you're on the away side is pretty detrimental to your team's record. Do I think he's going to do better as time goes on? Yes. He's doing well at home, but I think he has gotten a little bit more comfortable on the power play, and he's scoring 5-on-5 shorthanded. We know he can score shorthanded, but the 5-on-5 goals are slowly coming back. And when he hits the way that we know he can, it's going to open the floodgates. But, not the ideal start, but you get better and better after every single game, and he's going to get better. We know that. Everybody knows that.
Brandyn, your thoughts?
To kind of go back to Martin Necas for a second, I think that Aho was playing through something a few games ago, and maybe he's gotten past it because there was some stuff about him physically that looked a little off, in my opinion. But I think what a bigger factor with that is he's not had a whole lot of stability in terms of line mates over the last, or, throughout the entire season. So, for example, he's been with Jordan Martinook, Eric Robinson at some points, Martin Necas at some points, and the player who I think he has ever had the most chemistry with is not Teravainen. I think it's Jarvis. I legitimately believe that. I know a lot of people would say that is blasphemy just because of how long they played together. And yes, they played really well together, where you get to see them reunited for a couple of weeks probably in the Four Nations tournament. But Aho and Jarvis have more chemistry than Aho and Teravainen ever did. So one of the biggest things for Aho is, one, he needs to have consistent line mates, and one of those needs to always be Jarvis. Now, whoever you want on the other wing, that's a completely different discussion, but having consistent line mates would be nice. He doesn't have Gensel there anymore. Jarvis being there with him, I think, is essential. He looked good with Eric Robinson on his left. I was totally fine with that line. If that stays that way for a while, that's fine. If they give the Aho Roslovic Jarvis line another look, that's fine. But I think more than anything, it was a lack of consistent line mates as far as 5-on-5 stuff goes. As far as the power play goes, Aho is playing on the right side now as opposed to the left. When he started racking up a ton of power play points last season, he was in the spot that Necas is now. Now, I'm not advocating to change that. Necas needs to stay exactly where he's at in that situation. But Aho has had a lot of changes between Gensel leaving, between Teravainen leaving, having a multitude of different line mates, and having a different position on the power play. Looks like he's adapted to all that now. If you leave him with Jarvis, he will finish the season with 85 points or greater.
Yeah. I mean,
and
go ahead.
The funny thing about it is, even with Aho being off to start, he's still above point per game. He's hanging out at like 1.2.
Yeah,
or something along those lines. So even when Aho is not playing his best, he's still contributing, and he has stepped up massively in the defensive side of things in the last 4 or 5 games. So like when I was talking about with Necas, like if he's not skating well, that's an indicator that maybe something's wrong. With Aho, if he's not doing that really suffocating defensive game he does, disrupting transition and being really good on the forecheck and all that, because Aho's not a physical forechecker, he's a very technical one, and he uses the stick and everything to execute his takeaways and everything. He's not like like Jarvis is. Now that he's doing those things again, I really noticed it the last time we played the Flyers on the Roslovic goal that he got the assist on. When he's playing like that, when he's stepping up on somebody and sticks in, he's got the puck, he's gone the other way. 5 seconds later, it's in the back of the net, whether it's him or somebody else that did it, then he's playing like himself. He has looked much more like that. Rod, please leave him with Jarvis. Please leave him with Jarvis.
Yes, absolutely. I really, really like the Robinson, Aho, Jarvis trio. Eric Robinson, and I told you guys this the other night, that's my off-season acquisition of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has been outstanding, given, I mean, he just makes people better. I mean, he's like we say that about Martinook, and I'm not saying he's Martinook, but he's like kind of a similar style player with a little more scoring touch, I believe. And man, that sequence by Aho and Robinson the other night, that Aho scored on.
Tic-tac-toe.
The pass, pass to Robinson, pass back to Aho, and then behind Sorokin was amazing. It was great. And, it's things like that he's been able to do all year. He's got this, Eric Robinson's got the skating ability, the speed, the physical presence, or, whatever, to play anywhere in the lineup with anybody. And I love having Robinson up there because it makes the line a little bit heavier. And we all know that Rod likes to have a heavy presence on that line. That's why he, had Svetch there in the playoffs last year instead of Gensel. Not Gensel. Instead of Jarvis, right? Was that what it was? It was Gensel, Aho, and
Gensel.
Svetch.
Yeah.
And they moved Jarvis off that line. But I love Seth Jarvis and Aho together. And I think, like you said, I think that there's more chemistry there than there was with – now, Aho and Teravainen were good together on the power play. Mm-hmm. That's where they – because they really weren't that great together, 5-on-5 on a line.
I don't think so either.
They weren't.
No.
So
they were good together on the penalty kill too. So like special teams type stuff right. Or game on the line situation, you want them both out there. But as far as consistently 5-on-5, I think people overvalued that just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Like when you go back to when like Aho and Teravainen were playing together, and that was our top line, and then we were like putting Svechnikov up there out of necessity. We're past that now.
Yeah.
Like that's well in the rearview mirror, but people, I think they look back to that time frame between 2019, 2021 ish, and we have better options now, even if Teravainen was still here, which one thing I'll just touch on real quick. And I have nothing to back this up. It's just a prediction of mine. I think Teravainen is going to be back in a Hurricane sweater in about 2 years. Something tells me we're going to go get him back at a deadline at some point or another to supplement a playoff run. Because Chicago's going to want more assets. Yeah, I legitimately believe that, something is going to happen, and we're going to be like, okay, well, who do we go get? We send a pick or something like that, and we bring Teravainen back for 50% retain. I just have a feeling that is going to happen.
Well, how long has he signed in Chicago for?
4.
He's 4
years?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like a couple of years from now when the cap's gone up and he fits really well and everything, I just have a feeling they're going to be like, well, we already know what he does. I just have a feeling that's going to happen.
I don't know.
As Lee Corso said, not so fast, my friend. Not so fast.
I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying it's like I just have that. I don't want to call it a sinking feeling because I don't hate Teravainen by any means.
I mean, you never know.
Wish he would shoot the puck more.
You never know. I mean,
well, that's never going to happen. I will say this: when you were talking about Eric Robinson and Svechnikov, Rod forced that line with Svechnikov and Aho. It didn't work. It did not.
Never try that again.
No.
Svetch, KK, and
Necas.
No, it was Robinson, KK, and Necas.
I like that
was
line.
A phenomenal line. And Svetch was bumped down with Stahl and Martinook, and that seemed to be okay. Yes, Svetch is starting to get some goals, power play, starting to do some stuff on 5-on-5, but, you can't bring him back to that top line. And Eric Robinson, like you said, Griff, has done it all. And to get a guy like that for less than $1 million, and he's going to get a big payday.
I'll pay him
next year. I'll pay 100%. Yeah. I honestly prefer him over Stefan Nason, and I like Stefan Nason a lot. But the way Robinson has been playing, there's just no debate for me.
I don't think they're the same player. I think they both have the thing I like about Eric Robinson is the fact that he unlocks a lot throughout your entire lineup. He can play your top 6, and I think he should. I cannot believe at the beginning of the year, if you just
we were like, is Eric
We
Robinson
had
going to be in the top?
and Angersorum and everything.
We thought he was going to be in the top 6 of the Chicago Wolves, not the Carolina
Dude.
Hurricanes.
If
Yeah,
you-
here we are.
If you'd have told me Eric Robinson was playing your top 6, I'd have just put my head in my hands, just be like, "Oh, we're screwed. This is gonna be a bad year." But
Gentlemen, I will be right back.
yeah, no worries.
Just bump me off the stage for a second, if you will.
Me off.
Sorry, my bad. I hit the wrong button. But yeah, I just think he's great.
He does it all. Nason, great on the power play, but I will say Robinson, all around player, and
He just
makes
unlocks so much.
such an impact. I mean,
I think I like him up with Aho.
every line that he is with looks great.
Yeah, and I wait till Brandyn gets back to talk about this. Well, I'll bring it up then too, but I think the way the lines are right now,
Mhm.
it needs to stay. I think you need to keep it this way. Look, I don't like Svetch on the top line, and I don't like him with Stahl either. So keep him on the second line with KK and Necas. It's fine. They've been playing well. Well, offensively. Defensively, yeah. But I think you need to keep the third line together, Stahl's line together. Carrier needs to stay there. He has been great down there with them. And that line is just, there's so much there. And they've been scoring lately.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
they have been scoring lately, and I like it. Keep it together. And then the fourth line is just your third scoring line. I mean, Tyson Jost centering Jackson Blake, who we've seen, have his flashes this year. He's a rookie. And then Jack Roslovic, who's having a career year in scoring. So,
yeah. I mean, like you said, when we started the year, I think we had that Martinook, Stahl, and Carrier line. And again, blend them more and mix it up a little bit. But I think that line reminds me a little bit of the Nino, Stahl, and Fost line, of how they are heavy forecheck and know where their spots are. And Martinook, I think, has 8 goals, and Carrier slowly starting to get there. And Stahl and Martinook have really good chemistry, and Carrier knows his role and is starting to develop into that third line forward, to where he is on the rebound, dirty areas, gets it to Stahl or to Martinook. And we saw that last game where Carrier was right up against the boards behind the net, and Stahl dug back in, got it right into Martinook, just a little tap in. I think that line is perfect. And, goodness, the bargain we got for him for 6 years, like $2 million a year. I mean, keep that line there. That's your heavy forecheck line.
Yeah,
right
Brandyn,
there.
we were talking about, I wanted to bring this up with you in here too. The way the lines have been set the last couple games with Robinson up with Aho and Jarvis, that, it's working. You don't have to put Svetch up there. I don't think Svetch needs to go back up there. And I also don't like Svetch playing on Stahl's line. So I think keeping Svetch, KK, and Necas together, keeping the Stahl line intact with William Carrier, and then your fourth line is your, a very capable third scoring line with, Roslovic, who's having a career year in goals, Tyson Jost, who's been playing well, and Jackson Blake, who we've seen glimpses of greatness with him as well. So I know you agree with that. I don't even have to ask you.
Absolutely. But yeah, so it's like one of the things that I do want to point out with the lines. I know Rod says he doesn't number the lines. Okay, bet I'll go with that. You can not number them, but there are specific roles that each of them play. I can care less if Jordan Stahl, William Carrier, and Martinook score at all. That's not their job. They're supposed to keep the game close. If they do score, all the better. If they can go out there and get a hardworking, grinding goal and turn a game around, or, the one that they scored the other night was identical to the one that they scored on opening night. It's like, that was the most Stahl line goal in history. If they go out there and produce some net positives in that regard, all the better, but they don't need to score. They need to keep the game close. That's their job. And like you were saying, I caught the tail end of it. you have 3 lines that are fully capable of going out there and producing.
Mm-hmm.
If you leave them alone the way that they are. If Jack Drury comes back in, the Jack Drury playing with guys who are expected to score more experiment needs to not come back. Because Tyson Jost fit right in there. Jack can go back into that spot and everything is fine. So, and honestly, it's kind of cool, the idea of maybe having like Jackson Blake, Jack Roslovic, and Jack Drury all in the same line, because it's easy to name it and you already know where, like, you already know who's going to get there. That just makes it easier to be like, okay, let's just have this, the Jack's line.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while we're on this topic, Tyson Jost. And we got some comments in the chat over here. A good one by B. We'll get to B. Hang out. We'll get to your question, but I want to hit Tyson Jost real quick. When we found out Drury was going out, there was a lot of people that were kind of hoping that, Ryan
Nick
Suzuki.
Or I'm sorry, Ryan Suzuki.
Ryan Suzuki. Yeah, not Nick.
Wrong
Sam.
Yeah, we were hoping that Ryan Suzuki would come up and get an opportunity to play. You know, he's having a pretty good season down in the AHL this year, but it was Tyson Jost. And I think now, by watching Jost play 2 games since being called backup, I think that was the right call. Maybe it's him making the most of his opportunity. You know, maybe he's trying to force Rod's hand that, hey, this guy's going to play here. But he's been, especially in the game, sorry about that. Especially in the game against the Islanders, you know, he scored the goal. But you know how I do the Griff's 3 thoughts after every game.
Yes.
One of my thoughts was, you know, Tyson Jost was one of the best players on the ice, in my opinion, during that game. Other than one of Pyotr Kochetkov, obviously, with the shutout.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, as far as skaters goes, he was all over the place. I mean, playing 200 foot. I mean, just absolutely involved. And, yeah, just, you know, center's his natural position, which I learned after the game. That's his natural position, and you can just see it. And I think, you know, I think if he continues to play, if he plays continuously like he played against the Islanders Tuesday night, there's a conversation to be had when Drury comes back healthy.
I'll say this. Jost was drafted 10th overall, I think, in 2016, and he was poised to have that second line center feel, and he could never hit that ceiling, bounced around a little bit. What bothered me the most is when people were talking about, Suzuki should have been there over Jost. Okay, I understand, but this team is not at a point where we can put in guys that don't have experience. And that's the biggest thing for me. Yes, Suzuki is having a great year in the AHL. Do I think that he is poised to be in the NHL lineup for however long Drury is going to be out? Absolutely not. Jost has been there. He's done that. He played for us in November for a little bit, got sent back down. Drury got hurt, sent back up. And like you said, Jost has played since he got called up 2 solid games. I don't see a thing of Suzuki better or anything like that. And I don't agree with what you said. If Drury comes back, you have a little bit of discussion. Okay, you know, like maybe, but Jost has done a phenomenal job. And if he keeps that pace, I could see that discussion with Drury and Jost and moving Drury possibly for a goalie or something.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm not advocating for Drury to be traded or anything like that. I just think that, and it's, again, it's a small sample size. Yeah, We'll see. But
Yost is he's really impressed me though. Like the one place where we have an abundance is everything below a second line center. We have an abundance of options there.
Yeah. And I think, when he was here the last time when Jarvis was out and he was up, he was playing wing. And you can tell the difference. I think he's a better center than he is a wing. So all right. Well, that covers that. So now, we're about to wrap this up and get out of here, but I just want to go over, the schedule remaining in December. We're going to give our little points, do our little points projection for success that we like to do. And then we'll kind of look at the playoff picture right now. And then, we'll call it a night. Real quick though, before we go into that, I want to address B's question here. B says, any news on Nikishin and where does Morrow fit in the future?
Brandyn.
Yeah, Brandyn, you take this one. I know you love talking about Nikishin.
Nothing really new on Nikishin. I'm still imagining that they're going to bring him over as soon as his KHL season is over and sign him, even if he doesn't play, because that eats 1 year off the ELC and he would only have 2 of them anyway. And then if you do need to put him in the lineup, you have him. So we saw what happened last year with Brett Pesce. I imagine nothing is going to change with that situation. I have no reason to believe that he would not come over here. Like all signs are pointing to him coming over. They really are. And then, there was the thing that Daily Faceoff said about, maybe there being a bonus involved just to ensure that you get him. So nothing there. As far as Scott Morrow goes, I think Scott Morrow is the future partner of Jacob Slavin, at least to start. You could potentially see a Morrow and Nikishin pair maybe in the future once they've adapted to the NHL game. But I think Scott Morrow is going to be best served to be on Jacob Slavin's right. He'll quarterback one of the power plays as time goes on. 1 and 2 are going to be any combination of Ghost, Nikishin, and Morrow over the next few years. So yeah, I think that's where they fit. Our top 4, I think next year is going to be, to some degree or another, Nikishin, Morrow, Slavin, and Chatfield. Not necessarily those guys paired together, but that's going to be our top 4. Walker and Goss's pair, I don't see that changing.
Potentially. What I was thinking is maybe Goss's bear could find his way up to Goss's bear's a left-handed guy, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding.
Yep.
I
would put Slavin with Walker. You have 2 defensive defensemen for Slavin and Chatfield. I don't see that happening.
No, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying those 4 guys in general. I wasn't saying to put them together. I think Chatfield is going to be with Nikishin. I think that's what they've been basically grooming him to do with being with Orlov. And then you've also, if you need to, you can put the Ghost and Chatfield pair back together. But, I've seen a lot of the criticism lately of the Walker and Goss pair, and I've actually got a little quick thought on this. The whole team was playing horrendous. That team, that pair is designed to make the most of offensive zone faceoffs, drive possession, put pucks on net, make good passes. And when the forwards in front of them were playing horribly because they didn't know who their line mate was going to be 5 minutes later, it affected them. Mm-hmm. And that pair needs to just be good enough defending going the other way. And it's just funny to me that I provide video evidence of Shane Gostisbehere being good at defending off the rush, and I have people telling me, but he's -6. Okay, fine.
Dude, you can't take anything you see on X to heart. It's a cesspool.
It is, but it's just people will believe charts and heat maps over what they see with their own eyes. I don't understand it.
I know. All right, so B, hopefully that satisfied your what you wanted to know there. But I kind of disagree with you, Brandyn, a little bit on the Nikishin thing. I don't think we see him. I think he'll be over here, but I don't think they're in a hurry this season. I think there's not a need, assuming health now, right? Assuming health. I don't know who you take out of the lineup at the end of the season to give him some games. If he comes over, before the playoffs start, then okay, get him in, get him a game, let somebody sit. I got it. But after the playoffs start, there's no way, in my opinion, he's going to hit the lineup.
Oh no, I don't
because-
think he is either. I'm just saying they're going to
Yeah.
sign him to eat a year
Oh,
DLC,
you're saying
so they're
Oh,
so
yeah.
that there's less money they pay him later. Now, what they
Yeah.
can do, they can send him down to Chicago and he can start learning some stuff there because the North American game is still different.
That's
so
true.
maybe he plays down there and then he's part of the Black Aces when the playoffs do start. But yeah,
Yeah.
nobody's coming out. No.
No,
It's just
as long as they're healthy. Yeah.
yeah. Now, if someone does come out, Nikishin is probably the first guy going in.
Yeah.
He's not a traditional rookie.
All right.
No.
So let's look here. So the title of this session is Happy Holidays, We Hope.
Mhm.
And so if we're looking at the schedule through the rest of December, it's very, very, we talked about this last session with Brandyn, very, very metro heavy. There's only one game between now and the new year that is outside of the metro division.
Mhm.
So we start off tomorrow night at Washington. Brandyn and I will be in the house. Look for us on the broadcast, AB.
I will. I
You
will.
should be able to see us where we're sitting. You'll
will.
probably be able to see us.
No!
What was that?
Sorry. I'm
No,
just
it's
trying to
you're
be funny.
but you're having connection issues, so it was like stuck on the high note.
I think everybody is having.
It sounded like you were trying to
connection
create the
issues at
next
this
new
point.
dubstep song.
Yeah, it sounded like auto-tune.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right. All right.
It does. Your sound sounds like auto-tune right now. Anyway. Oh, AB, we just love giving you a hard time. That's all.
That's
It is
okay.
fun.
Anyway, tomorrow night at Washington. Then we're at the Rangers Sunday. That's a 12:30 puck drop. Early game against the struggling Rangers. Then we're at Nashville on Monday. Then we've got
The Agenda Cup. I've been waiting for this.
then we've got the 3 days off for the holidays, the 24th, 25th, 26th. Then we're at New Jersey on Friday, the 27th. And then the very next day, we're at home against New Jersey. So a back-to-back home and home with the Devils. And then we finish out on New Year's Eve at Columbus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games between now and New Year's. That's 12 points available. 5 of those games on the road, 1 at home. What is a successful 6-game stretch between now and New Year for you guys?
I'll say 9
Brandyn.
points.
9 points out of 12.
Yes. No way we're
AB?
winning all them games.
AB?
8.
8.
I'll say 8.
8 of 12 and that's just success. You know, if you get 8 out of 12, you know, with points wise, with 5 games being on the road, you know, you kind of feel pretty good about yourself.
Mhm.
So I was thinking 8 in my head too. I was thinking you need to at least get one of those against Jersey. If you can't get both, if you get both, that'd be great. But you need to get at least one of those games with New Jersey, and you really need to get the game tomorrow at Washington. Then you need to take care of business against New York. You need to take care of business against Nashville. Those are 2 struggling teams. There's no reason that we should, you know, drop New York and Nashville. And then, you know, if you split with New Jersey, and then you should be able to take care of Columbus too. So 8 points, 10, you're really feeling good. 9, you're feeling pretty good. Anything below 8, you feel like you could do better. So, yeah, I think that's good. I don't expect to win them all either. I think we end up dropping one of the ones with New Jersey, and I think we get the other. And then that's it. That's the last we've played Jersey this year.
That's going to be like a mini playoff series, that back-to-back with the Devils. And then, like, you know, if we beat Washington tomorrow, that solidifies that we're back on an upward trend, because the 2 teams that we've beaten since the blender got put away, the real test is tomorrow, because this is the first time that we're playing a good team with these lines. So that's going to be
I hope he leaves them together. He tends to go away from them on the road.
Yeah, see, that ain't the time to do that. Not against Washington. Those lines need to be left alone. They will do fine against Washington.
And we're not going to know until they take the ice for warm-ups because there's no morning skate in the morning. So when they show up is when we'll find out. Yeah, so important stretch here.
Typical.
I think that Washington's dropped 2 games in a row. They got beat by Chicago the other night.
They collapsed.
Yeah, they did. They let Chicago come back in the third period. I think they scored 3 or 4 goals. So, all right. So a quick look at the playoff picture today, and then we'll get out of here for the night. Looking at the Eastern Conference, currently in the Atlantic Division, you've got Toronto in first place with 42 points. Florida in second, also with 42 points, but Toronto has a game in hand with the better points percentage. That's why they're in first. And then the Bruins in third with 37 points. That's your top 3 in the Atlantic Division. In the Metro Division, currently the Devils with 45 points in first place. Now, it's important to note they have 34 games played. The Capitals, who are in second at 44 points, have 3 games in hand on the Devils. And then Carolina is in third place at 41 points, also with 3 games in hand on the Devils. So, I believe, points percentage-wise, it's Washington, Carolina, New Jersey. But points-wise, it's New Jersey, Washington, Carolina. Then you look down at the wild cards, and this is very interesting to me. And I'm seeing something here. But currently, the first wild card is Tampa Bay at 36 points. The second wild card spot is Ottawa at 34 points. Then you've got Pittsburgh with 33. Now, these are the teams in the hunt. Pittsburgh with 33 points. Philadelphia with 32. The Rangers, who are nosediving, 31 points. And the Islanders at 31 points. Then you got the Red Wings at 30 points. All of those teams right there still have a shot at that. I mean, that's every team in the Metro other than Columbus, Montreal, and Buffalo are within 4 points of a wild card spot. So very tight race. Ottawa has found another gear. The Penguins have found another gear. The Rangers are falling. The Islanders are falling. And I expect Boston to get overtaken by Tampa. I think Tampa's a better team than Boston, but we'll see. But if everything would hold, right, as is, the first round matchup currently would be Carolina and Washington. I don't expect that to be the matchup, though. I think,
no.
Well, I don't know. It could be. It really could be. If New Jersey were to happen to take the division, it would be Washington, Carolina, but we'll see.
I would have just moved out of here, and then I will be flying back up here for games. So I'm going to go ahead and, place a bet that it will be Washington and Carolina in the first round, just because I'll have just left.
Well, sucks.
Oh, no, I'll fly back up here. There's direct flights. That'll be easy.
Right on. All right, fellas. Well, I enjoyed it. Brandon, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
DC. And if anybody else is going to be in the arena tomorrow, let us know. Shoot us a DM or on X or let us know. Tag us in the post, whatever. And I'm looking forward to seeing some black and red in the stands tomorrow night. And Brandon, AB, I'll give you guys the last thought, and then AB can take us out.
Brandon?
So we typically, our road fans, have a pretty good showing in Washington. Last year when I was there in January, we kind of took the place over.
Nice.
I'm going to flip it. I'm flipping that. No. You guys hear me?
All right. So anyway,
I think we're cooked.
Yeah, I think it's over. So anyway, I'll take us out. Thanks so much for listening to and watching session 66 of Caniac Sessions. If you haven't already, go down, give us a thumbs up on this video. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It helps us out. AB, are you back, buddy?
I am.
There he is.
Let me finish it. So, if you haven't already on YouTube, subscribe. Turn on the notification.
Yeah, we're having some issues here with AB. So, yeah, so like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Give us a follow on X. If you're watching on X, like the video, share it. We'd really appreciate it. And you can check us out on all social media platforms at CaniacSessions. You can check Brandyn out over here at The Warning Take. Check out his YouTube channel as well. We've got it linked down in the comments. You can check out all the stuff he does. It's great, fantastic, especially the slamming video, which is new. So check that out. And you can follow AB on X at AB Caniac Session. And, you know, you could follow me on my personal too, but I hardly ever use it. I'm usually messing around on the pod account at Caniac Sessions. So that's it. So thank you so much for listening. And we will see you guys in session 67.
Bye.